Hello again, everyone. Thank you to all my subscribers for coming back. And if you're new here, welcome. Today we're talking about flowers and plants. That's what we're going to be studying in the month of April. What better time than to study plants when plants are getting ready to bloom? So the first few books that I'm going to talk about are guides and more instructional type stuff. So the first one is called Field Guides for Kids, Flowers and Plants, and there's the author. And this one talks all about the different types of grasses and flowers that you find out in the wild, and it's really a good beginner guide. It's not really so much for young kids, but they get to see what the actual plants look like. And if your kids are a little bit older, this would be good for them, like later elementary kids, because they can read it. But you can read this to your kindergartners, and it has some very, very basic plants like a water lily. So these are things that your kids could spot if you went to a garden or out in the forest or even at a garden center. So things like aloe and a cactus. But I thought this was well done. The next one is just called Flowers, 21st Century Junior Library. And this one is definitely has like a lot of information, but very short reading on each page. And the thing I like about this book is that it has very short, quick activities that you can do. They're not on every page, but there's probably like 5 in the book, so I thought that was really nice. And I also do like that they include real photos. The next book is called Math in the Garden, and if you have trouble with your kids and math, I thought this was a good book. It does show realistic pictures, and I like how on each picture there is a photograph of children in the garden and doing math, and you and your kids will be surprised at just how much math you can incorporate in growing a garden. And so there's a lot of addition, subtraction. They talk about multiplication and measurements. So if you're looking to do math outside, this might be a good resource. We're definitely going to use this. And then to go along with math in the garden is counting in the garden. So this is definitely more for preschoolers and kindergartners. And you may be past this already, but I thought the illustrations were really nice. So it just goes from 1 to 10, counting in the garden. And you could go backwards. So if you're teaching your kindergartner how to count backwards from 10 to 1, just start at the back of the book. Nobody says you can't do that. The next few books are storybooks. This one is The Reason for a Flower, and this one goes through just all the animals that come to use a flower and all the things that flowers do for the environment. I believe it was this book or maybe another book that at the end it shows all the things that you can create from flowers. So it shows you like all the products. Let me see if I can find it. All the products that are made from flowers. So this is the page. So it shows you that you can make paper and a broom and candy and just all kinds of stuff. And I love that they incorporated that in this book because not all books do. The next book is Flowers Are Calling. This one is a newer book. I love the illustrations in it. And this one just talks about all the animals that come to the different types of flowers. And it does tell you what the flowers are. So I like that you could identify the flower in each picture and the animals that come to those flowers. The next book is called Planting a Wild Garden. And this one I like because it starts out showing you a family that's planting a garden, and then it goes on and it shows you what happens to the seeds from the garden that they're planting and how seeds are moved by different animals and by people. And I like that it shows that even though you don't realize it, you may be one of these people who are planting a wild garden without even knowing it. And yeah, it just shows you all the different ways that seeds are moved around and how they grow and where they grow. Nice story / informational book. This one is called The Garden of Abdul Gasazi, and this one was an interesting book. As you can see, they won a literary award, and I thought it was interesting. It looks a little bit scary, but it's about this boy who has to take care of a dog, and the dog's kind of naughty. There he is right there, and he runs away, and the boy runs after him, and he ends up going into a mansion and a garden, a large garden, and the owner of this mansion really doesn't like dogs, and he's a magician. So you find out what he does to this dog, and then the boy has to go back home and tell his aunt what happened to the dog. And I won't give away the ending, but I like that it incorporated a little bit of guessing and wondering at the end about the magician, and it'll keep your kid wondering like, what really happened? And the next book is called The Boy with Flowers in His Hair, and I really enjoyed this one, and my daughter did too. And it's just about a boy who has flowers in his hair, and what happens is he's friends with another little boy, and everybody loves the boy with the flowers in his hair. But then one day he comes to school and something is wrong, and they realize that this little boy has lost the flowers in his hair. And so then all the children, instead of making fun of him, they decide to make flowers, fake flowers, to put in his hair. And it's really a story of friendship, and it's a story, I feel, about a little boy maybe who was sick, and then his friends come together and he gets healthy, and everybody's happy that his flowers grow back. So I think it's like a really nice message for kids. And then the last 3 books were our favorite books. This one is called A Good Place, and it's by Lucy Cousins, and it's about these little bugs who live in different environments, and they like flowers and dead wood and a pond. And so they go through trying to all find a place where they can live together. And they have lots of trouble, and they say like, oh no, this is not a good place to live. And so they try the next place, and my daughter really liked this, and she thought it was really funny. She didn't like this little beetle very much, but she liked the other bugs. And then at the end, I thought it was really sweet because they find this garden that a little boy made, and they can all live there and live in a happy place, safe place. And it's just nice for kids to think like that they can make a garden that's a nice place for animals to live and enjoy. And the next book is called Planting a Rainbow. It's by Lois Ellert, and I've shared in our bird book list that she had our favorite book, and it was called Feathers for Lunch. So this one is about growing a garden. And the thing I like that she did about this, it's so colorful. We love that. Of course, the sentences are short and easy to understand. I feel like this is something a kindergartner or first grader could read. And yeah, it just goes through all the different types of plants, and they tell you about the types of plants and what they look like. And then you can see as the plants go from seed to flowers, and at the end it shows you the whole garden with all the flowers in it, and it says that they know next summer they can grow the rainbow again. And I think that was really sweet. And then the last book, of course, is our favorite, and it's called My Garden. And what I love about this book is this little girl starts off doing the garden with her family, and her imagination takes over, and she thinks about, if I had my own garden, what kind of stuff would be in it. And she just talks about all the things she loves, and that she could have candy in her garden, growing in her garden, and she'd have bunnies growing in her garden, chocolate bunnies, and just all kinds of silly little things, jelly bean bush. And I love that it's very creative, and it is something that I think kids would think about, all the fun things that they would grow if it was their own garden. And so we really liked this book, and that was our favorite. So I hope you guys also enjoyed this book list and that you can incorporate some of these books into your learning. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.